We begin this afternoon with news in Spain. As you may recall, on October 27th, the Catalan parliament voted to form an independent republic. Shortly after, Spain's prime minister used the constitution to fire the Catalan government in Barcelona, dissolve parliament, and impose direct rule on the region from Madrid. A new regional election has been called for, Catalonia, on December 21st, but instead of backing down, those who seek independence from Spain seemed as determined as ever to achieve that goal. RT's Alex Mihailovich is in Toronto with more. Alex, break down what exactly has been happening recently with this independence movement.
Well, if you know anything about Catalonia, I mean, it's had a pretty tumultuous history period within the confines of Spain and outside of Spain as well. But let's talk a little bit about what Catalonia is. A lot of people don't know that. So let's just break this down for our audience. It's a region of Spain in the northeast, about 7.5 million people. It includes the very popular tourist destination on the Mediterranean of Barcelona, which happens to be the second largest city in Spain, as well as the home of the Catalan parliament and regional government. So Catalonia is one of 17 autonomous regions in Spain. So as you can see, this is the way that Spain basically works. Every region here has its own autonomy to a certain degree. And the official languages are Catalonian and Spanish. If you're in primary school, you'll be learning Catalonian only. But the fact of the matter, it shows just how important this region is to Spain and just how much power this region actually has as an independent, or I should say, an autonomous area where you can have your language being a priority, as well as many other benefits. Now, that's something that we need to break down too. We've got to look at the past 10 years or so to build up of what is actually happening now. So let's break that down as the events leading up to the independence vote. And if you go back to 2006, you'll see that Spain's central government and the Catalan authorities, actually, Catalonia got more powers according to that agreement, including finance powers, healthcare, education. Then in 2008, you saw that massive financial crash globally, and that's when things happen in the world, especially with independence movements. A lot of these regions that have any thoughts of independence pop out because if economic times are bad, well, they feel it, and they think that they're getting out of whatever confines they are with a country that might be a better plan for them. Especially when you look at Catalonia, they make about 1/5 of Spain's 1.1 trillion euros annually, and they thought they might be better off on their own and not have to give money back. So 2010, then we saw that the court actually struck down parts of that constitution in 2006 where they got more power. 2012, snubbed for any type of financing or finance powers that they wanted in Catalonia. 2014, we see that the independence ballot that the Spaniards wanted couldn't go ahead. Basically, Madrid said no way. And there's numerous other events coming up to now and what's happening now. And then, of course, moving on to December 21st, where you're going to see this new vote come in. The vote's supposed to be a vote that is for Catalonia, but we're seeing that the independence powers are becoming stronger and stronger, and they want to be a big part of that election, which is just about a month or so away.
That leads me to my next question, Alex. Some suggest several countries are acting hypocritical when it comes to their criticism of Catalonian independence. What can you tell us about that?
Yeah, you're looking at Catalonia, like what we've just been mentioning now. I mean, there's a lot of independence there, but again, this type of movement, there's more to it, and there's a cultural depth to it, of course. It has its own education system, but that's sometimes not enough. But look, the hypocrisy is seen when you leave Spain itself. Look, Canada, here, we've had issues with Quebec over decades, probably even, close to a century or so, even longer. And the question is, with Quebec is, yes, it is a culture within Canada, but Quebec always wants to separate when economic times are bad. So even back in 1970, when there was a crisis, there were American tanks on the border. A better example, and even closer now to time, was 1999 in Kosovo, when we saw the European states, along with the United States of America, say to a country, to Serbia, that, you know what, yeah, this is a province within your country, but no, You can't have it your way. You do not have the independence to say what you want to keep this country within your border, or the state within your borders. We want it independent. Even NATO said that. NATO bombed Serbia because of that. But now when it comes to Spain, it's the complete opposite story. They're telling Catalonia, you have to stay within Spain. Spain has the right to its own self-determination, and Spain has the right to say to Catalonia, you have to stay with here. It wasn't the same question with Serbia. It seems to be the powers that be within this world make their decision, and when this is wrong, when this is right. And this time around, when it comes to Catalonia, it seems that all powers are siding with Spain, not with the independence movement there. And it's a change from what we've seen in the past.
Is that age-old tension between self-determination and state sovereignty exposing some hypocrisy, some would say there, I suppose. RT America correspondent Alex Mihailovich, thanks so much.
Thank you.
And debuting his new show here on RT, former Scottish First Minister Alex Salmond spoke exclusively with ousted Catalan President Carles Puigdemont for rare insight into their independence referendum. Madrid fired Puigdemont, and he's now facing charges of sedition and rebellion. Spain issued an international arrest warrant after he fled to Belgium, where he is currently on bail. Speaking to RT, Puigdemont recalled the region's referendum day and told Mr. Salmond how he views the future of Catalonia.
Let's take you to that day, that extraordinary day on the 1st of October. And tell me what your emotions were that day. On the one hand, there was the celebration of millions of your fellow country people coming out to exercise a vote for self-determination. On the other hand, there was the violence that we all saw on our television screens from the state police. So what were the conflicting emotions that you felt as president of Catalonia on that famous day?
There was a day of the victory of Catalonia. On the other hand, of course, there was a day of the extremely violence. I couldn't imagine the reaction like that from the democratic state in European Union. It was a tragic day too, because I see directly the violence in my face. The school in my hometown, there are a lot of injuries,
By the start of the next week, the Spanish judicial system rolled into action and took away the constitutional prize that Catalonia had gained.
Well, this mistake, in fact, starts a new era. In the end of this era, that will start a Catalan Republic. Because in these conditions, it's not possible. There is no future for Catalonia to remain in Spain in these conditions.
What is your message to the people of Catalonia?
We must be confident, resilient, because we will win. We will succeed. Finally, democracy will prevail.